What is going on, guys? I am Matt O'Leary back with another video. Today I am recapping the New York Jets training camp practice on Wednesday, August the 23rd. This was unfortunately, well, I say unfortunately, but it's also a fortunate thing. I'll explain why. Unfortunately, I'll finish my first sentence though. Unfortunately, the last open training camp to the public, and while that is sad because I love seeing all the videos that come out of training camp and at practice, I am happy because that means you're going to inch just that much closer to training camp. So let's get it rolling. We'll start with Duane Brown coming back to practice today in a limited role. Again, he wasn't playing a ton with like in the team drills, and they were going back and forth. But something that is exciting about it is Billy Turner is not going to be the starting left tackle anymore. And I know that sounds harsh, and I feel bad for saying that about Billy Turner. But Billy as your fourth tackle, fine. Billy starting left tackle, scary. Bryce Huff beat him pretty badly today. And in a perfect world, you don't want him as a starter. And Duane Brown coming back when he has, or when he did just this week, means he will more than likely be good to go on opening night on September 11th against the Buffalo Bills. I think it's a perfect scenario where, as of now, you have Brown, Tomlinson, McGovern at center, AVT, Becton. That right side of the offensive line is something to salivate over. I am thrilled with those two guys, assuming health. That's the big thing, because if this unit's healthy, I think they could be an average unit, or even potentially a slightly above average unit. But unfortunately, if you lose somebody and there's, question marks, specifically at tackle with Becton's health and Brown's health due to age, then it could start to trickle down into a negative, which is where we saw the offensive line for a couple weeks against the Panthers and then against the Buccaneers in that practice week leading up to those games. It's been significantly better, though, in the few days since they've gotten their guys back, which is a much more promising sign. The Jets did some load management with Elijah Vera Tucker. Not surprising. Yesterday was his first time back, our first day back, and today was day two. He didn't get all the reps. He got some, and when he was out there, he looked very, very good, but you don't want to rush him back. They're taking it slowly. They've done that with pretty much all their injuries. They've taken it very, very, very slowly. And I think if he was, if the Jets had a game, he would be good to go, but they're bringing him on again. They're kind of just ramping him back up because the expectation is that he and the starters are going, because he's one of the starters, is going to play in the game against the New York Giants. So kind of just getting him up to speed for Saturday. Don't want to overdo it after a good practice yesterday. Pretty much everyone was indicating that it was just load management. It's not like he re-hurt himself yesterday after going back out there, so that's a good sign. Today I thought was a great day for the passing offense, and go figure, offensive line gets better, passing gets a little bit better as well. Aaron Rodgers had a absolutely ridiculous throw to Allen Lazard. Oh my God. This looks like prime Aaron Rodgers. This is why the Jets trade what they do in order to get this guy, and they push their chips to the table, because there are few people in the world who can make that throw. He's still an elite talent. Last year was very much so to do with the injury, and I think he's fine this year. I think he's, somewhere in the top 10 for quarterbacks this year. Maybe he's not, top 3 like he once was for a very, very long time, but he, to me, is easily a top 10 quarterback, probably closer to be top 7 at worst, if we're being honest with ourselves. But great throw to Lazard there. He had a few to Randall Cobb, and more on Randall Cobb in a second, and a nice deep one to Mecole Hardman, which is good. I like seeing Mecole Hardman's speed being utilized. But everyone kept saying today, too, that Randall Cobb was very active, and Cobb had a really big role on the Hard Knocks episode last night. I think he's going to play a bigger role than some people anticipate. And as long as he's not taking away targets from Garrett Wilson, which is not going to be the case, Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers have already shown that they've had a really good connection so far, and he can't go 5 minutes without talking about how much he loves Garrett Wilson and 17, and Devontae Adams also 17. But anyway, with Randall Cobb, that's someone that he trusts, and I'm not saying, sign him up for 700 receiving yards, but, or 50 plus receptions, but he's going to be utilized. He'll have a few catches every week, and I'm okay with it. He can still play. I know, some fans are worried about him because of his age. He's not the guy that he once was, 10 years ago. That's fine. But can he still give you maybe around 400 receiving yards and some quality in the slot? Yes, I think he can. And doesn't mean he's going to start. I don't necessarily look at him as a starter, but he's going to have a couple catches every week. And, I think it's fine. I'm not sweating it. I think he could still play. He might just be slightly above Mecole Hardman in the pecking order. But I think they use both. It's not like Mecole's going to get banished and that's it. Like, he's not involved at all. But Randall Cobb might be playing more than some are anticipating. Something that worked really well today is the play action game, and it's something that I hope the Jets implement more in their offense this year. Last year they had Aaron Rodgers for the Green Bay Packers used the play action 136 times, which was 9th in the NFL. The Jets last year combined with Wilson, Flacco, and White was 116. So Aaron Rodgers is someone who's benefited off the play action a lot in his career. I think he does it well. It's been something they've put an emphasis on and something that they've gotten better with, but I'm really a big fan of the play action, and especially with the playmakers the Jets have at the running back position. I think it'll be effective because you have Breece Hall, Dalvin Cook, Michael Carter. They're going to build their offense off the ground, running the ball and, getting nasty at the line of scrimmage, but also they have like that passing attack, and the play action will set up other things. So I'm excited about that and think, that's just an extra wrinkle to this offense that should be good. The Jets defense was showing off a 3 safety look, which I think we do see at some points this year, and that's what Chuck Clark was going to bring before the injury, but now it looks like Adrian Amos is going to fill that role. They had Amos, Tony Adams, and Jordan Whitehead out on the field at the same time, and I think Trey Dean could even fill that role. He's flashed a little bit in training camp in these preseason games. I'm rooting for him to make the roster, the UDFA. But they are going to utilize those 3 safeties, which is probably another reason why they felt like they could let Kwon Alexander go. Yes, Kwon was good for the Jets last year. I was a big proponent of bringing him back, but the Jets like Jamien Sherwood. They've made that abundantly clear, and also they will utilize 3 safeties in that look to kind of mitigate the linebacker issues, and I'll say issues with air quotes because they're just a little top heavy. They have CJ Mosley, who's solid. Beyond that, Quincy Williams, their number 2 linebacker, and guys like Jamien Sherwood and Zaire Barnes. So there's a little bit of some unknowns there with their depth. But when you're able to get both or all 3 of Amos, Adams, and Whitehead on the field, I think it will help mitigate some of those things. Last thing before we hop out of here, Mekhi Becton, RT1, right tackle 1 right now, was dominant once again in the run game. He was creating holes for Breece Hall. There was one where he pulled and just absolutely obliterated Jordan Whitehead in open space. That's Mekhi Becton in space and AVT in space. That's the kind of thing that they can do. They get mismatches against poor guys in the secondary, and they'll blow them up. And I am so excited to watch those 2 guys next to each other in the ground game. I think they're going to do wonders. So love to see that from Mekhi. Overall, a good day at practice. Let me know your thoughts below. I am Matt O'Leary. Subscribe if you're new. Give a like before you go, and I'll catch you next time.